Hello, members of the L2M program and any prospective future candidate for the L2M program. My name is EShikuku, and I'm here to share a few things that I've learned over the last 2 to 3 months that I've been in this program. Some surprises that I've come across and opportunities to learn that I didn't really think I'd be able to. First of all, let me just give you a quick background. I've been in the P2L program, which is sort of similar to this, and I've also been through an MBA program, which is a cohort-based environment. So there's a lot of learning that you learn from others and viewing how others conduct themselves. But this program is a little bit different. One thing that I have to mention is, and this hit me pretty hard in the beginning, and this started at the beginning, was the ability to be able to reflect. And that is, you have quite time to sit, think through, and really be able to share that with others within the cohort. And what that does is enable the other cohort members to share equally and freely. That has been something very hard for me. I'm very outgoing, but very private. So this program has helped me with that a lot. And I'm going to share with you some few stories and things that I've learned over the last 2 to maybe 3 months. So I'm currently rotating in the Juan's organization, which is a shipment, enterprise shipment organization. He doesn't have any managers here in Memphis. So all these managers are co-located in Pittsburgh, Colorado Springs, Orlando. One thing that we do here on the L2M is do a shuttle. It's one of the suggested activities. So obviously mine, I have to do some little bit of travel. Well, when I joined the team, I realized that I would have to go to Orlando. One of the managers that is there in Orlando is Dean, who I'm going to be telling a story about. Dean and I have a history. We worked together, if you could say that, almost 12 years ago when I was working in revenue. I was a developer then, and Dean was the manager of the testing organization. Now, for those of you who are developers, there's always this antagonistic relationship between the developer and the tester. And that was not any different when we were there. And Dean was a tough guy. We had calls maybe 3 or 4 times a day. And on these calls, Dean would be railing on the development team. It was always development fault. I mean, many times we would almost get to shouting matches. So that is a perception that I had of Dean. Nobody really cared much for him, at least on the development side. Well, so I had to do a manager shadow. When I requested to have this, I really didn't have much anticipation that I would be learning anything, because I'd already formed a mind that there was nothing really positive I was going to gain from him based on my previous interactions with him. And in fact, the very first task that he asked me to do when I went to Orlando, he wasn't there. So he sent me an email and he said, somebody's having the 25th year anniversary. I need you to collect what preferred sandwiches people are going to have for lunch. And I thought, okay, so FedEx has paid all this money for me to go to Orlando, and I'm going to be doing waiting services here. But, I reflected upon this, I thought about this, something that I've learned within the program. This could be something that I can turn around and actually use it to my advantage. It's an opportunity for me to be able to meet each one of those people I would be getting requests from and tell them why I was there and what I was doing out there. And of course, why I was asking them to give me their preferred sandwich, what they prefer to eat for sandwiches. So that worked out very well. I mean, I was able to meet some people that I worked with 8 or 12 years ago. I met new people, and I was able to introduce myself to them. I don't know whether he did this intentionally. I'd like to think that he did. But it ended up working out very well for me. So when he came back in the afternoon, this was a very different Dean from the one that I knew from before. He was a very mellow guy, very thoughtful, somebody immersed in leadership. And just to give you a quick background on Dean, Dean had been in the military for over 20 years. He was a lieutenant. He left the military, retired from the military as a lieutenant colonel. That's a pretty high rank. He had a battalion of, I think it's 200, 300, 500 people that he was leading. And then when he left that, he joined FedEx as a manager. So those are two very different cultures. And one thing that he shared with me was the first thing he had to learn when he got to FedEx was he had to immerse himself in the FedEx culture, which is very different from the military culture. The military culture is, you do this, and people do it. At FedEx, you tell them, you do this. Hey, what are we asking the PSP? Be curious, right? Ask those questions. So he had a lot of learnings, and he had to adjust his management styles. Something we also learned into the P2L program. People adjust depending on the people that they're leading. He had to do that. So that's why I was able to see a very different Dean from the one that I had met or encountered 12 years ago. The next day, I went home, I went back to the hotel, and I thought through, and I was really touched by what I felt. And I thought that it would be great for me to share with him what my perception was when I was coming down to Orlando, and that I wasn't going to be getting. So next I talked to him about this, and I told him, Dean, I really didn't think I was going to learn a lot coming from you. Of course, we used to work together in revenue, and the persona and perception that I had of you was very, very different. But you totally unguarded me with your warmth and your thoughtfulness and your willingness to help me. So we're sitting out there, I was almost getting teary. This is a tough guy, and I could see maybe some little beads of tears in his eyes, but he didn't cry. But I think he was touched. That willingness for me to open up and tell him what I had perceived and what I was actually receiving was something that touched him. That's another thing that I learned from this L2M program. We have these things called blogs. And on this, we share with the team. Some of them can be quite personal, hilarious, but at the end of the day, people bare their souls out there. They tell you what they think. And it's a very, very open, conducive environment for us to be able to learn from each other. By me talking to Dean and expressing what I had thought and what he had given me, opened the doors. He was, I guess, in some ways, unguarded by it. And so he opened the doors for me. I met his wife. I met his sweet 7-year-old granddaughter. And we had a great time learning and learning and just being comrades. I can say this today. The Dean is one of those people that I can say I have on my side pocket. If I ever get into management and I'm faced with any challenge, he's probably going to be on my speed dial to call and talk to and share with the hope that he'll be able to help me. With 35 years experience, I'm sure he's encountered some of the problems that I may be able to reach. I wouldn't have been able to have that if it was not for this L2M program. So, everyone's experience here in this program is going to be different. My experiences are different. I'm in this organization, you're in that organization. The management styles in those organizations could be different. And in fact, when I move from this organization to the next organization for the next 3 months, I don't anticipate that it's going to be the same. So the things that I'm going to be learning are going to be very different and unique. You cannot get that anywhere else other than here on the L2M program. There's going to be a lot of surprises. Surprises like I've just explained to you. But they're going to be surprises unique to you. So just remember, whatever it is that you put into this program is what you get out. Thank you.